Welcome to Lesson 7 and Unit 21, From Sun to Food. In previous lessons, students have figured out that plants need the small particles of carbon dioxide and water to build their matter and light energy to change those small particles into their own plant matter, such as glucose. They figured out that different parts of the plant help the plant get those materials. In this lesson, students will perform a quick exercise demonstration and will read from several nonfiction text sources. Students figure out that plants are important not only because they provide living things with food, energy, and other products, but also because they give us oxygen, which living things use to break down food matter. This lesson takes 2 days. At this point, you should revisit the design challenge of this unit, in which students are designing a farm that minimally impacts the natural world and still feeds people. You should check in with students to discuss what they have found in the last section that could be considered as they develop their models. Ask students to turn and talk to a partner, then to share out some ideas to the whole class. You may want to write some of their ideas and questions on a piece of chart paper to revisit throughout the remainder of this unit. In the Engage portion of this lesson, revisit the unit phenomenon with students. You eat pizza, which has many ingredients on it. What have we learned so far that has given us clues about this phenomenon? What are we missing that you need to figure this out? Allow students to turn and talk, then share out a few answers. In the Explore portion of this lesson, students will observe the effect of exercise on a person and see if it has anything to do with the pizza phenomenon question. For this exercise demonstration, you may want to demonstrate this yourself, or you may want to find a student who is willing to exercise for a few minutes. Count the breaths of the volunteer before the exercise begins. You can do this by counting how many whole breaths per minute, noting that one breath in and one breath out is a whole breath. Record this number on the board. The exerciser should then do some form of exercise, such as jumping jacks for about 3 minutes. The goal is to get their breathing rate to go higher than when they were at rest. Immediately after the exercise stops, count the breaths per minute again using the same procedure as before. Record this final number on the board as well. Next, ask students, what do you notice? They should notice that the breathing rate increased, meaning that more breaths were taken immediately after exercise. Ask, what do you think caused the breathing rate to increase? And allow students to turn and talk. At this point, students may not completely know why this occurs. If time allows, you could have several students exercise in the same way to get more data points. In the Explain portion of this lesson, read the book, Living Sunlight, How Plants Bring the Earth to Life by Molly Bang and Penny Chisholm. Refer to the Read Aloud Guide on Teacher Page 15 for specific questions to ask and productive talk strategies. The last pages of this book are called Notes About This Book and provide a rich background information for the teacher or for advanced students. After reading, revisit the breathing rate activity. Use these discussion questions to have a foundational conversation about cellular respiration. Students should respond that we got oxygen when we breathed in. Based on what was read on pages 21 and 22, the author explains that we need oxygen to get energy from our food. That energy allows us to move. Therefore, if I move more, I need more oxygen to get more energy. In the Elaborate portion of this lesson, the class will discuss data about forest coverage across Earth and reasons for deforestation. First, students will revisit the design challenge for this unit. Ask students to consider everything we've learned in this lesson about why plants are important to our planet and how this relates to our design challenge. Allow students to share their thinking. Next, go through the following forest slideshow shown here, which is linked in the curriculum document and in the curriculum slides for this lesson. Allow students to turn and talk during this presentation using evidence from the maps and this lesson to guide the discussion. While viewing this map image, they should notice the pattern of coloring is varied. Responses from students may include, "There is a lot of forest area concentrated around the equator," or "This is where tropical rainforests are," or "There are also a lot of forests in Sweden and Finland." Continuing on through the forest slideshow, students should discuss what has changed from 1990 to 2015 as they note the date on the slide in the bottom left corner. Consider using this American Forest website to dive deeper into the usefulness of trees and forested areas to our society. The main takeaway points from the website are listed here and can be used to facilitate a richer discussion about the relationship between forests and clean air on our planet, which is in our best interest to conserve and protect. Similarly, the Rainforest Alliance website is another resource available to students to consider how rainforests relate to this unit's design challenge. They should consider this picture as they think of their farm design plans. In the Evaluate portion of this lesson, have students answer the questions on student page 17 on their own. Refer to the answer key for Why Are Plants Important in the teacher pages for more guidance and a formative assessment opportunity, which is indicated by the checkmark and a circle icon. To close out this lesson, allow students to refine their pizza farm model. Students should now be able to include oxygen produced from plant matter and food energy going from the plants to the animals on their model. In this lesson, students performed a quick exercise demonstration and read from several nonfiction text sources. Students figure out that plants are important not only because they provide living things with food and other products, but also because they give us oxygen, which living things use to break down food matter. By figuring out that plants are important because they give us oxygen and food, students will be able to further develop their pizza farm model and will be able to connect this to the idea that plants are involved in the flow of energy in an ecosystem coming up in Lesson 8.